Hey, it's Cassie,
Kelsey,
Sarah, Jackie, Janelle,
and Nikki. This was produced at Shenandoah University's Health Professions Building on June 23, 2017. Today we're going to talk about the Family and Medical Leave Act. Let's get started. FMLA.
what's that?
we've got the answers. Kelsey's here to start us off.
The Family and Medical Leave Act is a federal law but can be altered by state. There are specific requirements for employers and employees that make them eligible. The law allows for 12 weeks of unpaid leave that's job protected. The health benefits of the employees must also be maintained. It was introduced to help maintain a balance of work and family responsibilities. It allows employees to take leave for certain medical and family reasons. Those specific reasons are prenatal care, birth or adoption of a child, a direct family member or the employee with a serious health condition, or an active military member with qualifying urgent circumstances. So what constitutes a serious health condition? Well, an overnight stay in a medical facility, a condition that takes an employee out of work for more than 3 consecutive days or is unable to perform their daily job function. A chronic condition that results in periods of time that an employee or family member will be incapacitated at least twice a year, or a pregnancy that results in inability to perform one's job, for example, morning sickness or bed rest. Next, Nikki is going to talk about who it affects.
Employers who are covered by the FMLA are those who have 50 or more employees within 75 miles of the worksite during at least 20 weeks of the current or previous year. Government employees are generally covered regardless of the size of the company. Employees who are eligible for the FMLA must work for a covered employer for at least 12 months and worked 1,250 or more hours during that time. As discussed earlier, covered employers and eligible employees are affected by this law, whether it is giving time off to employees or taking time off yourself. Since employees are able to take leave to care for family members, the family members themselves are also being affected by the law because they may finally have a caregiver. Lastly, healthcare providers may be affected if employers request that the FMLA health conditions form be filled out, but Janelle will talk about this later. Jackie's going to talk about when FMLA got started next.
The FMLA became effective on August 5, 1993. Amendments to the FMLA by the National Defense Authorization Act became effective on January 16, 2009. This finally expanded eligibility to active military members and their family. This is known as military family leave. Now Cassie's going to be talking about the FMLA across the states.
In addition to the federal law, some states have additional laws regarding medical or family leave. This chart outlines the differences between the federal and state laws in our area. Virginia doesn't have any additional state laws and only follows the federal requirements. West Virginia has the Parental Leave Act, which requires the state government to provide all of its employees who have worked for at least 12 weeks up to 12 weeks of unpaid family leave. Maryland requires employers with 15 to 49 employees to provide 6 weeks of unpaid parental leave. Any employer with over 50 employees has to follow federal requirements. The District of Columbia requires all employers with 20 or more employees to provide 16 weeks of unpaid medical leave in addition to 16 weeks of unpaid family leave per 24-month period. That is a lot higher than the federal law requires. One topic within the FMLA that we have yet to discuss is the employees' reinstatement rights. Under federal law, employers are required to reinstate employees to the same position or a position equivalent when they return from leave. However, if the employee is in the highest paid 10% of the company and the company can prove that it is going to economically suffer due to the loss of this employee, they're not required to reinstate that employee. In DC, employers are required to reinstate all employees except the top 5 highest paid employees. Lastly, the federal law permits employers to require employees requesting leave to use all paid leave before the use of FMLA unpaid leave. This includes vacation, personal, and sick time. The state of West Virginia actually requires that all paid leave be used prior to the use of FMLA leave. The District of Columbia actually permits employees to share their paid leave under certain circumstances. Sarah is going to talk to you guys about regulation of FMLA next.
Created using Powtoon.
The Wage and Hour Division of the U.S. Department of Labor regulates and enforces the FMLA.
The law states that employers cannot interfere with, prevent, or deny an employee their FMLA rights. They cannot punish employees for filing a complaint and working with the Wage and Hour Division. And they cannot punish employees for bringing a case to court. Complaints are reported by calling 1-866-4-US-WAGE. You'll then be directed to the nearest WHD center and they will investigate the complaint.
If you are not satisfied with the resolution, the U.S. Department of Labor may bring the case to court. Employees can also start a civil action lawsuit. Any allegation must be raised within 2 years from the date of the violation. Next, Janelle is going to be talking about how this relates to us as PAs.
So, why do PAs even care about the FMLA? Well, first, as an employee, there might come a time when we as PAs need to take FMLA leave for the birth of a child, to take care of a family member, or for a serious personal medical problem. Second, we need to know about the process of applying for FMLA in order to provide quality patient education to those in need of FMLA leave. Finally, PAs need to be familiar with the FMLA because we are one of the professions permitted by the federal law to complete the FMLA forms. For patient education purposes, it is important that PAs understand the process of how patients go about applying for the FMLA leave. The employee, who is also your patient, needs to notify their employer, who will begin the process of filling out paperwork by writing the employee's essential job functions on the first page of the form. Then the employer might require the employee to take the form to a medical provider. That's you. When you're done filling out the paperwork, the patient returns the papers to their employer within 15 days. At this point, the employer may ask the employee to correct information, contact the healthcare provider to clarify any information, or may require a second or third medical opinion at the expense of the employer. Finally, the employer must notify the employee in writing if the FMLA leave is granted or denied. Here's a picture of the form that you'll have to fill out. The pertinent medical information you need to document includes if they stayed overnight in a hospital, you need to document when they were admitted and when you saw them, and if they're pregnant, you need to document their expected delivery date. You will also have to use your best medical judgment to determine if the patient is unable to perform job functions as described by the employer on the first page of this form. You will also have to describe the relevant medical facts. Give as much detail as necessary to show that the patient is unable to perform their job functions. This might include symptoms, diagnosis, and treatments that would prevent them from doing their job. But be sure to only include pertinent information to their job performance. You will also have to the best of your knowledge, predict the treatment schedule, how often they will need to be treated for this disorder, and also any potential flare-ups, estimating when those flare-ups will occur. And finally, just add your signature at the bottom. On these forms, you must answer fully and completely. This means you need to give your best estimate based upon medical knowledge, experience, and patient exam. Be as specific as you can. Be sure not to falsify or exaggerate any information, but advocate for your patient.
The FMLA provides an opportunity for employees to balance work and family life. This aligns with the PA competency of demonstrating healthy behaviors and life balance. So once you become a practicing PA, if you need time off to take care of yourself or a loved one, take it. The FMLA also allows employees to have up to 12 weeks off for the addition of a new family member, to care for immediate family members, or a personal health issue. However, this may vary by state, so it's important to know the law in your state. As PAs, we need to exhibit integrity, meaning that we need to fill out the forms truthfully because no one should lie on a federal form. PAs should also demonstrate integrity when it comes to putting the patient's best interests first. The best thing you can do as a PA is be informed and provide accurate information to your patients.
Here are our references.
Phew, my head hurts. That was a lot.
Do you have any questions?
Created using Powtoon.